Howdy, and welcome to LeeReads, where I talk about the books I've been reading and enjoying lately. Today's video is basically a part 2 of my favorite novels from 2021. Last video was my favorite fantasy that I read last year now, because it's 2022. This video is going to be about the spectacular science fiction that I read in 2021. In no particular order, because I really enjoyed all of these. The first book we're going to talk about is a Desolation called Peace by Arcadia Martin, which is book 2 following A Memory Called Empire. A Memory Called Empire won a Hugo Award. It follows a character named Mahit, who is an ambassador from a small mining station as she goes to the capital of this huge sprawling empire, because the previous ambassador from Liesel Station has died, and it seems as though he might have been assassinated, and she's trying to figure out why. Of course, there's a lot of other wrenches that get thrown into that plan that I won't elaborate on too much because I have spoken about this novel before. But suffice it to say, you're basically following Mahit as she is trying not to panic this entire time, very fish out of water as she is engaging in this imperial culture that she has grown up learning about and kind of wishing that she was experiencing, and now she's actually experiencing it firsthand, and there's a little bit of culture shock. And of course, the investigation as to why the previous ambassador was killed, and now the potential that someone may be trying to finish the job with her. There are other really cool world building aspects and technology that are introduced, such as the Imago machine, or shared memory between Mahit and her predecessor ambassador, that plays a crucial role in the story, and that was one of my favorite parts of the story. Book 2, A Desolation Called Peace, is the conclusion to the story because it's a duology, and of course we are reacting to the events that happened in the first book, but the scope expands a little bit, the settings become wider, and the plot becomes larger. I thought that the focus of the story was different enough from the first one, with the first book being more of an investigation. The second book is kind of more like first contact and how the Empire and these other cultures are dealing with that. And I thought it was a great conclusion to the duology. Out of the 5 books we're talking about, this might be my favorite because I really enjoyed the characters. The next book on my list is book 2 of the Expanse series, Caliban's War. I would put Leviathan Wakes on here, except I read it in 2020, so it doesn't count. But I read books 2 through 7 last year, and I am currently on book 8. So clearly I've been hooked into this series. But why Caliban's War is my favorite is because with each of the novels, you follow a set of characters that you become familiar with, but each novel will introduce 1 or 2 other perspectives that help round out the story. I really love 2 of the main characters that get introduced here that become major players throughout the rest of the series. And their perspectives are so widely different. One is a soldier, one is a very powerful politician back on Earth, and another new perspective we get is a scientist. That's in addition to the regular crew that we've grown to know and love throughout the story. This book is the book that convinced me that I definitely wanted to continue on with the rest of the series, which I'm finally almost done with. It's kind of amazing that I've read basically a 9-book series in a year or so. I think that goes to show just how entertaining the series is. Next book on my list is Shards of Honor by Louis McMaster Bujold, the first book in the Vorkosigan saga, at least that's where I'm entering the Vorkosigan saga. There are apparently other entry points along the series. This is earlier in the chronological timeline, and I want to try to read them in order. Cordelia became one of my favorite characters ever. Just the way that she is analytical, quick thinking, and brave, but also has this kind of dry sense of humor that bounced really well off of Vorkosigan, the main protagonist-antagonist of this story. There are a lot of tropes that I really like in Shards of Honor, and again, it introduced me to a sprawling classic science fiction series, the Vorkosigan saga, that I am slowly embarking on. The next book on my list, I did almost a whole video dedicated to it, Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This novel is about a science experiment that has gone wrong in an unforeseen way, and yet at the same time still kind of works. Scientists from Earth have found a planet where they think humanity could live, and what one scientist wants to do is she wants to expose the planet to a particular virus that will increase the evolution of monkeys. There's no monkeys on the planet, so she also needs to put the monkeys on the planet and then over time set up this kind of satellite system to watch how it unfolds, with the goal being that once this new humanity has become technologically advanced enough, they will contact her, the creator, or the old Earth civilization and empire. Of course, the experiment does not go to plan. The monkeys don't make it down to the planet, but the virus does, and it begins its work on a species that's already present. I won't spoil with what type of species is, but a bulk of the story is snapshots of this evolution of this technologically accelerated species because of this virus and this empire that they're able to build, and how they interact with the other evolving species on the planet and the civilization that forms, which I never would have expected because of the type of creature that we're following here. The other part of the story follows humanity. They're on basically a generation ship that long left Earth because Earth can no longer sustain human life. They keep getting put into stasis as throughout different points of this journey. So you have this main human perspective that we're following throughout huge expanses of time as he keeps getting awoken to deal with one crisis or another and put back into cryosleep. And then eventually this generation ship encounters this evolving planet and sparks fly, and it's entertaining. I still need to read the second novel in the duology, Children of Ruin. I've heard it's very good as well. The last book I'm going to talk about in this video that was a favorite is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which I've talked about a lot recently. Currently in Skyward, there are 3 books out of a planned 4-book series, I believe. And Brandon Sanderson just posted on social media that he has finished writing the 4th book, and now it has to go through, edits and all of that. But it won't be too long in coming. The series also includes 3 novellas so far that fall in between some of the other books. This is a young adult series that really leans on the upper edge of that category. So I think if you don't normally read young adult because of some of the challenges and situations that our main character has to overcome, I think you could still find this novel compelling and really empathize with the main character as she is trying to become a starfighter pilot. She wants to join the DDF, which is the Defiant Defense Fleet, and help protect her planet from this alien species that seems determined to keep humanity on this planet. Not only does she have almost delusions of grandeur and wants to be this ace starfighter pilot, but also she wants to help her people escape Detritus, which is the planet they have been trapped on for a few generations. And each novel, the scope of the story opens, and everything becomes a lot more complicated. It's a story that it doesn't go how you think you're going to go, filled with wonderful characterizations, AI spaceships, my cat's feeders have gone off. And overall, it's a very good time. This is one of my new favorite series by Brandon Sanderson. What were your favorite science fiction reads of the year? They could have come out this year and be newer releases or much older. Please tell me in the comments so that I can check them out too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful beginning to the new year, and don't forget to support your local library. Thanks. Bye.